There it is. Not our combine, but the one they used to set it up. On the ground for a minute while I swap heads. Did come with the roll cones and the stock stompers. Those are some of the things that were holding it up. Yeah, my brush chains are transferred from the old head. So run with those right out of the box. Got bigger cylinders. Folds different. We'll get into a tour of it in a little bit. Next trick, see how the stompers work and if the trailer needs adjusted for this head. See, the one's gonna go over the tire there. And get them over the tire, it's the trick taking it back off. And the feet on the back are in a totally different position, so we're sliding them over to make it fit. When you're coming off, I always find it good to fold up your header height sensors, because those will snag on this front bar and you'll pull them the wrong way. I'll show you the difference between the width of the feeder house on a S series and an X9. So my feeder house come in here, so all that's bolted on and then bolted on this side, so the X9 comes to here, or mine comes to here. So X9 got a big throat on it, and it's wide, what is it, 16 or 18 inches wider all the way through the machine, something like that. So I'm going to fire this thing up now. I'm going to go through all the calibrations on it. Good idea to do anytime you put a head and a machine together for the first time. Go through several calibrations on there, get everything tuned up, and maybe yet today get this thing out in the field and see what it does. Well, I was going to calibrate it, but it's not available to calibrate. And if I go out of here, and like I go, if I want to fold the head, it should be on this screen along with the folding grain tank. It's not, so I just called. They're going to call right back. I'm sure it's something dumb, or we need a software update, something like that. Doubt it's a big deal. So we'll go over some of the differences between this corn head and our last head. We should probably also talk about why we got this, because a lot of people are asking, hey, you got a brand new 712 folding corn head last year, now you got another brand new head this year. Well, we went into last winter looking at taxes and trades and that kind of thing, and thought, let's just get a trade value on everything with green paint we have. Corn head's going to be the last thing we do because we just got one. Well, it worked out. If we made our first payment, which would have been in March, on the old corn head and rolled it into this new one, our new payment is actually a little bit lower. Now, yes, we will have one more year of payment, so no, it's not less money, it's more money, but we're just rolling basically into a newer piece of equipment, warranty, basically all the hours and every wear and tear, anything we had on the head last year, we're all back to square one on that. So it, all in all, it kind of made sense in the big scheme of things. And that was actually the first thing we decided to trade, was the corn head. And then we did this combine as well. So the basics, it's a 12 row, 30 inch folding corn head, same as we had before. Last year was our first folding corn head. We've had a 12 row since 2013. So for 2020, we went folding. But this C12F versus like a 712FC, what are the differences? Let's go through that. The way it folds is a big part of it, so gonna have more visibility. You can see how the wing, the frame, the backbone there is offset from the center. I believe it was all in line on the old one, but what they did was, so all this framework back here, I believe the cylinders are a fair amount bigger, but the hinge here where it folds, that is at a bit of an angle. So before, this folded up and over and sat right on top of here. Of course, this stuff wasn't even here, but that's where it sat. Now, if we go around, you can see the wings right there. That's where the wings will rest in that little pocket right there. So it actually kind of nests down inside the center. So it folds up more compact. So when you're on the road, you have better vision. Didn't have bad vision before, but this will be better because it's not going to be so high up in the windshield. The back of the head is a lot shallower, a lot lower profile. So it doesn't stick up near as far, which advantage or disadvantage, I don't know. This would be a small thing. So this square part of the frame here, this is now flush with the back. It used to hang over the top, and just as far as cleaning it, there'd be all kinds of stuff up there you could wash and wash and wash, and stuff would keep coming out. Another thing, a big thing I'm gonna like a lot are, what do they call them, active ends or something like that. We'll just call them these roll cones here. So these will spin around, keep corn from flopping this way, or if we have down corn, help it get in. Before, you just had a thing that you pulled up, which would be up. Sometimes when you didn't want it up, they didn't work in down corn too well because they hung all of it up on there and would plug things up. And then you also had to put them back down to fold because they wouldn't work when this flopped over and was upside down. So now these are just here. I can turn them off and on as I need them. They'll probably be on most of the time. Funny thing, when we were rolling out a Deere, there was a used gearing off head in the back with roll cones on it. Looked like that exact same cone. As far as the row units, they're pretty well the same as far as I know. The length and the sprockets are the same because you'll notice these are old brush chains that we've had on for since, I want to say 2015, 2016, whenever the first year they came out. We've been running these. So these were new on the old head last year, the 712. They fit this one. We had to move over. Why is there red paint on my Deere? Because when we took the other head in to be traded, we knew we'd be swapping chains. So the right hand ones, I painted red because they do have rights and lefts on these brushes. So I want to make sure we get that right. And I know it's on the left now, but it's as you're sitting in the cab. So flip it around, that's the right hand side. The auger itself is larger from what I understand, and the floor is all curved underneath it. It's not so much of a sharp angle as before, so maybe that'll help things flow just a bit smoother. Maybe not a big deal, but it seems like a good idea. This is normal. This helps with your auto track guidance. So you got one row of this where your corn stalks are slipping through here, and that just those detect voltage and tell it to steer just a tiny bit left or right to keep the rows coming straight in. Be handy for dropping this thing on the ground if we need to. Is your feet now that sit on the little pads on the trailer. So those are your jack stands. So those are adjustable. So that's nice. You won't have to drop it down so low. Sometimes you get yourself in a position where corn heads are a little tricky to get on or off if the combine is like any lower than the corn head. So it's a little tricky. So that'd be nice to adjust that. And I'll probably put it up in the last slot for in the field, and hopefully it goes on the trailer that way and we won't have to mess with it too much. One thing I wish Deere would do was get rid of this chain drive for the auger. I wish that would go to shaft driven because I don't know, I just hate getting in there and just adjusting it. I found putting on a new chain every year stays in adjustment better. Once they get loose, they want to be loose all the time. So if they would change that to shaft driven, that'd be cool. What's nice about these Stompers are they are tucked in up farther. So like our old ones, if I sat this on the ground, they'd be like way back here where you want to walk and do stuff. So that's a nice design up there, nice and tucked away. This is kind of different. Some added bracing for the folding part, and they've put not sure what the deal with this is. Got this kind of plastic shroud thing on the single point that hasn't been there before, so that is interesting. One thing I liked about the last folding head, which same here, your drive shaft, because you got the folding there, so you kind of got two drive shafts here. They're a lot easier to put on, kind of like the draper, because you don't have this big long shaft coming from out there that you got to kind of wrestle around and get lined up. Stock stompers are a new thing on these C-Series head that John Deere is now factory installing them. This one is off because it goes right over the trailer tongue, so it's kind of in the way, so you got to take that off. Folding head, no big deal. It's not going to spend a lot of time in season on the trailer anyway. Some lighting things. So one, see the tip of this snout? It's like twice as big as the rest of them, the end piece. It also has an LED light in there, so it lights up at night. So don't know if that's useful, but it might look cool. And we have a light on the side now. I'm sure we've done it before. It'll kind of illuminate Mr. Deere there, but might give the grain cart a little bit of light too. I don't know. We'll see. And got nice LED stubble lights on the back of the head to light it behind the head. So that should be an improvement. That'll be nice. Maiden voyage. So far, so good. Combine wanted a bunch of software updates, so Deere guy was probably in here over an hour. Now everything works how it's supposed to, seems like. So, got all calibrated. Away we go. I ran about 20 acres last night, so new corn head, no longer clean. Ran well, did what it's supposed to do. Roll cone there, it's doing a good job of not letting stuff fall over the side. Didn't see I was losing any ears or anything. Almost looks like you would. It's so much more low profile than the other one. So see, stock stomper's been working. Got paint wore off of them. And they're smashing the stalks down. Everything working pretty good. I'll throw the GoPro up on the combine once we get going, and you can watch it work a little better. For those that don't know, here's a quick how a corn head works lesson. So stalks coming in, you got your snap rolls here. These are rolling towards each other at a high rate of speed. See, they got those knives on the bottom. So stalk comes in, gets pulled down at your deck plates here, which are hydraulically adjustable to your stalk width. Come down, so the ear, shank of the ear gets popped off here. Gathering chains constantly pulling in. Takes the ear back there. Auger sweeps it to the middle to the feeder house, into the combine to be threshed and turned into clean grain. And this new style corn head, I would say, folds like twice as fast as the other one. Which is convenient. Say the wings definitely come up faster. You get her folded and lifted up for transport. You can kind of get my view of what it looks like. Might be rained out for the day. I'm headed either just north of the shop or to the shop, depending on how much it rains. Fold together there in the middle. Wings kind of sit inside of the front. You gotta kind of hold on to it till it says it's fully folded. There we go. Now we'll raise it up. That's kind of what I see from the road. Doesn't really block your view. If you're this close and gonna hit it, you were gonna hit it anyway. You didn't see it. So that's the new corn head. It's been working well so far. Got quite a few acres on it now.